Hello and happy holidays, everyone. Let's just jump right into it because there's a lot going on in the news today. So, it was announced this week that General James Mattis is leaving his post as the Secretary of Defense. This is extremely significant. Mattis was widely reported as one of the adults in the room when Trump would try to do something crazy or what have you. Now, think back to the beginning of the administration. James Mattis was characterized as sort of a creator of liberal tears, perhaps, a guy with who had respect from both sides as he was nominated, but he had some quotes like, you go into Afghanistan and you see people that have been slapping around women for 5 years because they haven't been wearing a veil, and it is fun to shoot these people. Now, that is the type of guy, that's the type of tough, rough and tumble guy that you'd think Donald Trump would want in his administration, that Trump supporters would be extremely excited about, what have you. Well, they were. They were giddy. There were memes about a political appointment at the start of this administration. Well, now Mattis is gone. And that is largely due to Trump announcing in the middle of the week that he's pulling the troops out of Syria. Now, the reasoning behind that, there's a lot of different reporting on that. Anything Trump does, you got to take someone with a grain of salt. I'm not for endless war, but when Trump does something, you always got to look at it with a little bit of skepticism. It's been reported by the Washington Post that after a call with Turkey's Tayyip Erdogan, that he just decided to go ahead and do it. Erdogan is the Turkish leader. So, moving back to Mattis and the significance of his departure. He didn't just leave. He did not. He put out a pretty scathing resignation letter. I'm not going to read it word for word, but the essential thrust of it was that America is strong because of its complex system of alliances throughout the world, and that things like the Article 5, which engages our allies if we are to be attacked, or if they are to be attacked, engages us, helps strengthen America, as it did after the 9/11 terror attack. Well, if you know anything about Donald Trump's foreign policy, that is a pretty tough rebuke of Trump's foreign policy. Trump believes that the alliances are like a constraint, that we shouldn't have them, that we pay too much to NATO, and that we just need to get out. We need to isolate ourselves. So that resignation letter has had Trump fuming for the past couple of days. The news dropped on Thursday, and now it's Sunday. And well, here's the little turn that makes this story just as a little more juicy. It was announced today, even though in that resignation letter, Mattis said he was leaving in February to help the new guy come in, help the transition for a pretty significant department, the Department of Defense, the biggest employer in the world, one of the biggest. He was going to help that guy come in. Well, no longer. Trump's been fuming over that news all weekend of the resignation letter, and the new guy's coming in January 1st. So, what have we learned? One, of course, Donald Trump is a child. Number two, and probably the most significant part of this, is that increasingly, Trump doesn't want adults around in the room anymore. He wants yes men in the most important positions in the country to just do his bidding. To, when something comes up and he tells them to do something, he wants them to say, "Yes, boss."